Noticias, entrevistas en vivo, podcasts, webinars y la mejor música. Disponible en Google Play.
Hello, I am Rodrigo Serafia and I welcome you to a new edition of program Let's Talk About Construction, which is broadcast live on Negocio Construcción Radio and simultaneously on the different Negocio y Construcción platforms on Instagram, ex-Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn, because together we build business opportunities. And we cannot continue without remembering and mentioning that this program is produced in conjunction with Negocio y Construcción magazine and the Wanda Comunications agency, Negocio y Construcción partner agency. And as always, I invite you to download the Negocio y Construcción magazine for free, the leading media in the field with necessary information for decision makers. You can download it for free. You can see the point here. When you enter the site, you subscribe and monthly you will receive the best content in the construction industry. The magazine includes more than 30 sections with all the topics that are trending today, such as construction in steel, wood, concrete, sustainability, clean energy, industrialization, digitalization, modular construction, etc. And with a global vision with participants for all of Latin America, the USA and Europe. In this edition, we have two very interesting guests that are participating in the most emblematic project in Chile, the bridge over the Chacao Canal, which has the task to improve behavior of the asphalt pavement, with the challenge of meeting high structural, operational, and comfort standards for the users. Thank you very much for being with us, Eduardo, representative of American Polymer Group.
How are you, Rodrigo?
Fine, thank you. And cordially welcome John Bors, VP of ChemCo System, which is a technical and business unit of American Polymer Group, who comes to Chile from the United States to review all the pavement construction preparation and where his company is the protagonist. Hello, John. How are you? How nice to have you with us today.
Rodrigo, it's a pleasure to be with you. And we're just very happy to be talking about construction and wonderful new innovative materials.
Thank you very much to you. The Chacao Bridge has a very special history in our country, which is why it must be built against wind, a lot of wind and tide. Governments that have approved and disapproved the project, budget increases and even changes in the principal companies. Let us remember that the suspension bridge over the Chacao Canal is located in Los Lagos region of Chile, and today progress is being made of the largest bridge in Latin America, which is at the same time the most important infrastructure for the south of the country, which allow the necessary connectivity to generate development and growth in a large part of the southern area of Chile, and especially to the connection of Chiloé Island. The south of Chile is going to be strengthened, developed and grow inevitably. When you connect people, cities, business, the country grows and improves the quality of lives. This particular work has overcome great technical challenges, and obviously, due to its magnitude, it requires the best materials, the best construction methods, and the most advanced and innovative material to achieve a construction with high performance in its different stages, and that during its operation and use is safe and comfortable for users to meet the useful life expectancy established in the project. The pavement that will be placed on the metal deck is a product and solution that has been used in the main bridges in the world. This is an epoxy asphalt concrete, which is going to be installed on the orthotropic deck that make up what will be the largest bridge in Latin America. Eduardo, what is the technical challenge of the bridge pavement, which on this occasion had to be addressed by an international company like ChemCo Systems?
What I know is this bridge must last 100 years. So the challenge was the flexibility, abrasion resistance, waterproofing, and that the asphalt itself lasts as much as possible.
Eduardo, what path have you had to take to achieve the goal and for ChemCo system product and solution to be considered in the Chacao Bridge? Because we know the minister, MOP, what we say in Chile, is a difficult part.
We must say ChemCo was working for this project over 8-10 years. John can talk more about that. So we are now in the position to show the technology to more people, but we know lots about, and John itself, more about this project. He can tell you better.
Okay, John, I was telling all our Spanish and English auditor who listen to us from Mexico to Antarctica and professional worldwide the challenge that the Chacao Bridge has had to overcome, and in the same way the importance of generating connectivity in a country with such a varied and extensive geography. But first of all, and before we get into the technical stuff, what did you think of Chile and how we treat it? Are we good hosts?
Yes, Chile has some great wine and is a great host after 2 or 3 glasses of wine.
Okay. And told that you traveled to Antarctica. What do you think of the adventure? Because I haven't had the opportunity to visit yet.
Put it on your list. You have to go. It is an amazing collection of incredible animals found only there in the world. The geological conditions and the rock formations and the deep glaciers. There's only one place. It's Antarctica.
Beautiful landscape. I am writing down in my to-do list to travel to Antarctica. I have a good challenge. The pavement is what we all see and feel, and it becomes the most important link in the project. And we seek to ensure that the movement of the vehicle on the bridge on its pavement is imperceptible, that we enjoy the trip and look at the bridge and the landscape. I remind everyone that we are talking about this issue with the company in charge of this stage, which I consider essential since the bridge will be subject to all the attack of nature, especially wind. But let's go to the vision of the industry. What do you think of the level of the construction industry in Chile?
Learning about the challenges you face here in Chile. I think, based on conversations I've had so far, that Chile has some very long distances on their surface roads, some very rugged weather and environmental conditions, but I think it is striving in the right direction to find more innovative materials that can be more durable and more sustainable and last far longer than technology from 50 years ago.
Okay, you are agree with me that the Chacao Bridge put us in Chile at the top of the line with it comes to large structures and requirement in design, construction, stage and use. The growth of a country requires the construction of essential infrastructure for development and the participation of international companies such as yours that show the business opportunity that can be generated. John, before asking you about the material and the construction solution with you are participating in the Chacao Bridge, tell us about ChemCo system. What is the origin of the company and how many years have they been in the industry?
The company came from one other company. It's changed names one time, and it started in the late 1950s and was one of the most innovative companies in the 50s and 60s, introducing the first use of epoxies for construction applications around the world. And their first big project was on a hydroelectric dam, and that the repairs were made in 1959 and they're still in service today.
And John, what products and for what project are they available?
Well, in ChemCo Systems history, about 50% of all of what we have made product-wise goes international, is not sold in the US. And So we have exposure from Europe to North and South America to Asia, and even some refineries use our chemical resistant coatings in Africa. So you name the continent, we still have yet to sell any material to Antarctica. I apologize for that. We'll work on that one.
Okay. Well, you have a great experience and participation in breaches in various parts of the world. What project are you currently participating, and of those already executed, which in your opinion is the most relevant for the challenge addressed, and does it have similar characteristics to Chacao?
Probably the closest might be some, for Chacao Bridge comparisons, might be some cold weather locations in either China or Canada, on one of the coasts of Canada. And that's not just sun, water, salt or chlorides, and heavy use, because we believe this bridge will be widely used once it opens, but it's also freeze thaw. So you have cold and warm, and some days I would think in Chacao there's multiple freeze thaw cycles. Those are big challenges for any construction material.
Okay, you told me before the interview about the Golden Gate. I tell everybody that this is the second trip I have to do in my to-do list, so I have a second challenge. It's an internal joke with John and Eduardo. Because we are agree, because of Minister of Public Works is a very demanding entity due to our condition as a seismic country, and even more so being that the first large bridge to be built. How did you convince the mob that your solution was the right one? Tell me, Eduardo, please.
I can tell you, please call John directly. He was working for more than 8 years on the project, so he have the answer better than me, for sure.
Your opinion?
I do have the answer to that question, and that is in 2014, ChemCo Systems was working with the same general contractor, which is Hyundai, out of Korea, on a bridge in Korea. And while we were helping support that project, the Hyundai engineers asked us, would you help us write the specification for the product to be used on the Chacao Bridge? And so that whole process started in 2014, and for this specific project. And the challenge there is the passage of time. This project may not be opened until maybe 2026. And so you have to anticipate that your product will change a little bit and hopefully improve. So how do you write a specification? That's the challenge, not knowing what product will be used yet.
Well, now let's talk about the innovative material with which you are going to participate. What is an epoxy asphalt concrete?
Well, I can tell you what it is not. Every other asphalt or bitumen in the world that is used for paving applications, first of all, it melts. If you heat it up, it will soften and turn into a liquid. Our product, if you heat it up to 300 degrees centigrade, still a solid. It does not melt. So that's one big physical change in the way our product works. Many companies around the world can sell you an asphalt with additives. We sell you an epoxy with a little asphalt in it. That's different.
So there have been different types and solutions of asphalt concrete. How does epoxy asphalt concrete differ from conventional asphalt concrete?
Well, as I said, it does not melt. So in very hot climates, which are sometimes found in places like India or Hong Kong or any country close to the equator, this material doesn't soften and it doesn't push and shove like the normal asphalts will in the very high temperatures. Or in some countries, many overweight trucks pass on these roads, and the overweight trucks terribly degrade these roads. But when you have a product that doesn't move, under heat conditions. That's a big advantage.
Okay, and is there any special advantages of epoxy asphalt concrete for an orthotropic deck, or could be applied on any type of structural material?
The traditional use of our product, epoxy asphalt, is for long span bridges. There's a number of reasons. One is it's highly fatigue resistant, one is its waterproofing capability, and another is it lasts a long time. There's a bridge now in the US with epoxy asphalt that's 53 years old. It hasn't been touched. I think it will get replaced. The Golden Gate Bridge is almost 40 years old with our material on it, and maybe they'll replace it someday. But it lasts a very long time. Normal type of paving, if you're lucky, 7 or 8 or 9 years.
Okay. Regarding the design and preparation of the product, is the design particular for each bridge, for the Chacao Canal Bridge?
That's the interesting thing about very long span bridges. Every bridge is unique. There is no copycat bridge. Okay, maybe there's 1 or 2 copycat bridges in the world, but most bridges are designed for the specific geography, the environmental conditions, as you've already said, the seismic conditions, the types of traffic loads they will have, and they're all unique. So when we get started, if someone invites us to contribute to a project, we will actually take those engineering design documents and manufacture a small specimen of that bridge deck and test it on special fatigue equipment to prove that we have the right paving mix.
Okay. Do you bring the material from the USA? Because do you have to take charge of the entire process, preparing the mixture, placing and curing? Or do you use local materials? Do you have partner company for your mix?
For the bridge use, we make the binder exclusively in the United States because we want to control the whole process. We want the finest quality. If you have a surprise and you're working on a very critical project and you delay the opening of that project, that's a serious problem. So if we control the material quality at the manufacturing site, we know what's going in. We do use local aggregates. That means all of the stone that is used and the sizes are all predetermined by the local sources. And we test those, hopefully in the US, to make sure they're high quality. But if you're talking about asphalt pavements, about 95 to 94% of the total weight of the pavement is the local aggregate.
Okay, Eduardo, you have the challenge to connect local partners to build this project, this use of material, this use of technology. Tell me more about that.
My challenge was to identify in Chile the asphalt or pavement company that has the ability to do this project. It's a large project, means more or less 50,000 square meter in application. And for sure, we are doing these steps. We are very advanced in agreements. Maybe next month we will sign an agreement. As John said, we must do tests. So in US with the aggregates to select the right combination. It's not so simple because we have in Chile with aggregates many problems, as you know, with chlorides and sulfates and so. So we must do the work, but we have enough time. We are working for this reason in advance, 2 years or 2.5 years in advance. That's very important.
Okay, very important. After listening to you, it is undeniable that the technical and operational advantages of your product and solution are evident. What is your opinion of the introduction of this product in Chile, and what other product and solutions can you offer to meet the demand of the construction industry in Chile, John?
We're still learning. That's going to be an interesting adventure, trying to hear from the MOP, and we're going to meet with some engineers hopefully on Wednesday from your ministry. And I met these people originally in the United States when they were at a big technical conference, and they're smart guys. They're out to solve problems, and unfortunately, like most countries, there is not unlimited budget. So they have to be very smart with their choices and their materials, and hopefully we can help.
Precisely, let's talk about the maintenance during operation. How do they take care of it, and how many years will your solution last with adequate maintenance?
Well, in the project for Chacao, we are optimistic that they will. This is a 100-year design life, that you've already mentioned that. And not every component will last 100 years. They will need to be maintained. But we are optimistic that with the right partners here in Chile, and Eduardo is helping us with the partners, and good quality control from the whole team, that this product will probably last as long as it has lasted on the Golden Gate Bridge right over there. You can't see it. For at least 40 years.
Okay. John, we want to thank you, and Eduardo also, we want to thank you for your kindness and all the technical aspects that you have told us about epoxy asphalt concrete. I wish you the best in your participation in the largest bridge in Latin America. Yo, Eduardo, esta experiencia, porque quiero transmitir a todas las personas que nos están escuchando también en español, porque es un tremendo desafío colocar un material que es una innovación y que va a permitir poder pasar a darle potencia al sur de Chile. Yo creo que tienen que entender todo lo que nos están escuchando, el golpe que se va a implicar, que va a implicar el desarrollo y el crecimiento no solo de la isla de Chiloé, de todo el sur.
Bueno, justamente como ya lo hemos conversado, Rodrigo, en las últimas oportunidades que hemos estado juntos, la verdad es que nosotros, nuestro corazón nos mueve la innovación. Eso es lo primero, ¿sí? Lo segundo, el foco en el cliente y entender sus requerimientos, entendiendo las limitaciones que tiene el país. Eso hay que ser súper cierto. Pero, por otra parte, la verdad es que no hay que tener temor cuando estamos haciendo la inversión correcta. Eso es sumamente importante, ¿no es cierto? Entonces yo creo que tenemos un muy bonito desafío. Tenemos además el soporte y la experiencia de muchos proyectos realizados. Nosotros justamente en esta semana de trabajo, nuestro desafío es conocer de las tecnologías, aprender de las ventajas, seguir preparándonos para un discurso de enlace, porque claramente es un discurso de enlace con los mandantes, con el MOB, con el mercado, y ¿no es cierto?, ir generando las herramientas de contacto técnico que ya estamos discutiendo con John, cómo podemos hacer conferencias en línea, apoyándonos por ejemplo con los trabajos que pueden ayudarnos ustedes. Así que yo creo que el desafío es realmente espectacular, porque estamos haciendo un gran aporte y claramente Chacao va a ser un punto de partida espectacular.
And to close this interesting interview, what do you think, John, of this conversation, and what is your message to Chileans and the construction industry regarding the quality of their products and the opportunities to use their solutions?
We're just feel very fortunate that the project people at Chacao invited us to participate, and it's going to be an amazing challenge. We still have much work ahead of us, more testing, more discussions with the engineers to come this week, and we would like to also be very, very, very careful to pay attention to what the MOP wishes. And sometimes contractors in one place, MOPs in another place, but we have to meet in the middle.
I agree. Well, it has been a very interesting conversation, and as always say, in every program I gain knowledge and add a colleague to my network, and which I continuously promote improving performance in construction projects. Negocio Construcción Media, crossing borders, bringing the main international companies closer to the Chilean construction industry. Thank you very much for your participation, Eduardo and John, and to all those who have listened to us and turned on www.radionegocioconstruccion.com and all our platforms, which are LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Permanent presence in Chile and Latin America. Thank you very much.